Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bagadon at Stock Market Caddy, and today is Monday. Monday. It's a bit of a banking. Well, it isn't just a bit. It is a banking holiday today here in the states. It is Martin Luther King observance of the Martin Luther King um, Memorial Monday. So it's a banking holiday. The public stocks are closed. The bond markets are closed, at least I believe. And the futures markets are open, but they're probably, I'm going to have to check, they're probably only on a partial day. So the volatility is going to be very, very low. Activity is going to be very low. We can get some exaggerated moves one way or the other, a lot of times up. And we're seeing that in the gold market, up 82 points. We're also seeing it in the silver market up nearly $6, pushing 100. Is this the week that gold goes to 5,000 and silver goes to 100? It's looking that way. We've been on vacation. Now we took a little delayed vacation. We were scheduled to go before Christmas. We had a little issue, and so we had to reschedule. And we're back though, and we're happy to be back. Beautiful day in Tampa Bay. A little on the chilly side. A little bit. I think it's like about 60 degrees, 62, 63, something like that. So that's kind of chilly for us. But we hope you are nice and warm wherever you be. We hope you're getting it done in the markets with whatever it is you're doing. Hey, Raul, how are you? Raul, when do the futures close? You save me a view. Are they 1 o'clock today? Or are they open full day? I think they're probably 1, right? Um, it is a little chilly though. We'll do a check ourselves. What time? Let's see. Let's just go to Grok. What time do the futures close today? Let's ask Grok. Well, wait a minute. The stock index futures are closed today, Monday. Well, that's not true. Um, Let me just give a beat here. No, they're trading. I think Grok is wrong on that. Grok says the stock index futures, E-mini, thing, they are closed today, Monday. No, they're not, Grok. No, they're not. So you don't have that right. Mm-mm. No, I'll just go to TradeStation. That isn't right. Yes, the equity futures will close, and probably the gold and silver as well, at 1 o'clock today. That's our understanding, I believe. So just be aware of that. And they've probably suspended a lot of the intraday margin. In thin markets, they'll reduce margin. Just be aware. Thin markets can get exaggerated moves. But we'll give you a view right up until about 1 o'clock. Any questions, let us know. Hope you're getting it done. Hope you had a good week last week. We were away, and I had a little visibility, but no computer visibility on the markets, only through my phone. So it was very, very thin. Nice to take a break, but always good to get back in the saddle. So we're ready to get rolling for this year, and fully hope you are too. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. Can even be today, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and or leave us a message or an email if you want to chat. And we're getting fully underway with our Q schools and new folks rolling in. And hopefully one day it will be you. So don't hesitate. So you want a camera shot? Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Next thing you know, no cleavage here with Bagger. Just a voice, just the markets, and that's okay. I appreciate it, but no, no, no. I don't even have a camera on this computer. Never, never, never did that. Never inclined to do it either. But thanks. But we're not doing that. Just remind everyone today is a banking holiday here in the States. It's Martin Luther King Day, and the public stock market is closed. The banks are closed. The bond markets are closed. The futures are open a little bit. We gapped down last night, and then here we sit. They will reopen, the futures will reopen at 6 p.m., and then the week will be underway. And for that matter, I think the year will really be getting underway. We are seeing the Nicholas timing model went short. We have something called the Nicholas timing model, and it looks at the underlying indices. It's an algorithm that looks at the underlying indices, the ES, the NQ, the YM, the Russell individually. And on that individual chart, it also looks at the data stream of the VIX, and it looks at the data stream of the 10-year Treasury. From that signal, or from that scheme, and it is a scheme, it's an algorithm, it will make a decision to buy or sell on a daily closing basis, not intraday, on a daily closing basis. She's got a wonderful track record, not perfect, but still very, very strong, and it can show us a bias. On the last signal was on January 13th, and it was a short. confirmed short. So the markets are in a short mode based on the Dinkless timing model. Now that doesn't mean that you should run out and short the markets. Doesn't mean anything of the sort, really. But to our members, they know what it means, and from there they might use it as a. Let me widen this out here a little bit of a filter. Let me see here. Trying to make some room so you can see the word euphoria in there. See if we bring this into scale here a little bit. Can I do this? Don't want a crowd. Let me do this. Can't quite get it all there. That's what she said. All right, there we go. All right. We'll also show you the daily pivot information. But that so that, Nicholas, we can use it as a barometer. We certainly have monthly members that will trade it flat out. I mean, they'll trade it using futures, they'll trade it using options, they'll trade it using micros. It's pretty it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's take a look at the ES. Now, this is on a 1 minute, 5 minute basis. If you had, even in this thin market, if you had gone long 38 minutes ago, you'd be up 275. If you had gone long on the 5 minute at 1050, you'd be up 512. If you had gone long the 1 minute at 1137 on the NQ 840, and on the 5 minute 1470, the Dow is underwater on its last signal, ever so slightly. The Russell marginally, but the big trades really, although they've backed off here a little bit, are the gold and of course the silver trade, and that stretches. Was that from this morning? Silver, man alive, yeah, that's crazy. So this was at 7:05 this morning, getting long silver. This $6,000, 11:28. I mean, just 49 minutes ago, 2,700. Thin markets. So let's take a look at the ES, and I want to slide over and I want to look at the pivot information. So this is where we are, right? The ES, the daily pivot for today, the daily pivot is 69.81, and we're below that. We're down in between the S3, S2. So the markets, have gapped down a little bit from Friday. And that's where we be. You can also see where the VIX has really spiked for some reason. This is on a daily basis, not on a weekly basis. Let's see if we can. We can. Let me do this. We'll just look at the S&P. Let's put the S&P on a weekly, and let's get the weekly view. So we're at 69.11. So this is the weekly pivot. Is 69.78. Okay, so we're just here at the S1. So can we go lower? Absolutely we can. Absolutely. The R1 for the week, this is where the market is going to, and it could get back up there. I mean, it could do it overnight. But it's going to struggle when it gets to 70.34, 70.91, and then 7,200. Probably going to have a hard time, even if it gets even back up there. So right now, the weekly pivot is 69.78. Now we can transpose those numbers and put them onto a chart, but it's really nice just to have them right there on the radar, so we can just very quickly know where we are on the field, right? On the field. A lot of football games being played, I guess this time of year. I don't really watch football. But I might watch the game tonight, right? They got a game tonight, Indiana and the University of Miami, I think, right? I think Indiana's going to have the edge there, but we'll see. And I'll probably watch a little bit of that game, but beyond that, don't really care for it one way or the other. You talk about being rigged, right? You think the markets are rigged? I think that crap's rigged, but it's all. Gambling has totally taken those splits over, which I think they're going to rue the day. But they got to do something to hold folks' interest, and that will do it. We're not gambling here. We're not. We're trading, and we're always mapping out our risk and managing our risk. And unlike the betting pools or the casinos, they define the term, they define the games, they define the odds, they define. Here, when you're trading, you get to define the game. Now we can certainly help you. We got a lot of tools to do that. These decision-making trading software tools do need to learn how to use them, and you can use them in creative ways. You can marry them with each other. So we have endless possibilities. But in the end, it will be your trading skill and your disciplined professional approach to margin and the use of that leverage appropriately that'll help you to get the job done in a relatively short period of time. But we're not. What we're not doing is coming in and saying, okay, we're going to be short, tomorrow or the next 5 minutes, and just balls to the wall, get long or get short. We're not doing that, right? And I hope you're not, because as soon as you do that, you will get whacked, inevitably. So it'll just be a matter of time. So we're not doing that. If you have any questions, who we are, what we're about, let us know. Markets again, winding down, just a half a day holiday, so there's not a lot going on. But I'll be nearby. We're getting some work done, getting back in the saddle, and getting ready for our week, and really getting ready for the year as well. So don't hesitate. Would these programs work with Forex? Yeah, I mean, I don't trade Forex, right? So I think TradeStation has a Forex accounts, right? I think you can trade Forex at TradeStation. So our programs will only work on TradeStation. And so you need to know, can you get the exact same TradeStation that we have? And then yes, you could use our tools to trade anything and everything. But can you use it? We have it's not really Forex, it's futures around currencies, and we can certainly plug those in too. So if you have a particular currency you want to get a spot check on, and how would Swing Machine be positioned on an interval of your choosing, just let us know and I'll plug it in. I'm not sure what Forex Gold is. Um, Forex to me is currency. Gold is gold. So I'm not really sure what Forex Gold is. So. I see. Gold to the USD. Let's take a peek. I may have that. Let me just plug it in here. I don't think it may be on delay. Let me see if we can get that. XAU. I think you've asked that before. XAU. Would that be? Would it be just XAU? Let's just see if we get XAU. Mm, no, no. So I don't have the feed for it. XAU. I don't know. Let's see. XAU. It's a pairs trade. I can try USD. I don't think that's going to work, is it? No, no, it isn't. So again, if TradeStation has it, you can trade it. I may not have the feed for it because I don't trade it. Um, Add blank row. Let me put this back. At ES yes. We'll put this back to a 1 minute. We'll put this back to a 5. So again, if you're listening to us, I don't know where everybody is, but our tools will trade anything, and our approach will trade anything. But the question is, if you're interested in using our tools will only work on the TradeStation platform. So you would need a TradeStation account, and whether that be futures or stocks or options, or currencies, forex, pairs trading. You would just have to have the prerequisite data feeds, and presumably the same TradeStation version that we have here in the States. And if you have that, then yes, you can go to town. I just Well, commodity gold is right here, right? So here is this is the gold futures, right? So I mean, if I was monitoring gold, I would be monitoring it off of the gold futures. So this is the gold contract. So the 1 minute, as an example, the 1 minute gold contract went short. Not suggesting anybody do this. Just 16 minutes ago, and you had gone short at 12.10, and you'd be up $130. The 5 minute went long at 10.40. Again, these markets are very, very thin right now. If you wanted to trade slower, and you look at the 60 minute gold, 60 minute gold went long 19 hours ago. It's actually underwater 510. If you wanted to go slower, we can take this to whatever level you want. You want to go to the daily. Daily gold went long 102 days ago. At what price? 34.54 at 5 p.m. I don't have the date in here, but we could add it, but I won't now. But this is a shorthand for the date. It's 102 days ago, and you'd have 122 grand. And so you can just you can trade at whatever level you want to trade at, right? Whatever market you want to trade, whatever interval you want to trade. My only suggestion is that don't let the market define for you what you're going to trade each and every day and all the time, right? I would rather a person, because otherwise you're always going to be. It's hard to get. I only trade gold and futures and in forex. Yeah. And that's fine because gold is certainly moving around. But we suggest everybody have in futures and even in options 5 to 7 markets to trade. Not that you're going to trade 5 to 7 every day. Not that you're going to trade 5 to 7 every week. But have 5 to 7 that you're monitoring and that you're prepared to trade. And there have been, I don't want to sound like one of those toothpaste commercials, I'm not, but there have been studies done by others, many others, that what is the optimum amount? Because you can really water your attention down. I mean, there's a number. I mean, you can have 20, 21, 22 futures markets, and you can have, a ton of things, and you can have the machine doing that. But that's a lot of markets and a lot of work to, pay close attention to. Same thing with options. If for those people that are trading options, if you're just like picking and choosing, an option from, the S&P 500, and it's a different one every single time or everything. I don't know about that. I do. I will weigh in. I think that you would behoove to focus in, and that may mean that you're not in those markets all the time. It'll reduce your trading, but when you do get in them, you'll have, I think much better success, and you'll be more focused. But the market is haphazard itself, right? It is it does trend, and but it does have some randomness to it. So if you are random in your approach, then it's random squared. It can get very chaotic. It's like, we were getting questions last night about, well, what about the performance? And which I totally get, but that's kind of like mutual fund thinking, investing, which is fine, right? We invest too, right? Not in mutual funds, but I understand that. But that's what people are exposed to, and the unfortunate part is, like, none of this is even taught to young kids, right? Certainly, they don't have any idea how the markets work. Imagine being in the United States and getting through high school and not ever having a class in markets. They don't even know. They have no idea. And then there are folks that get through college and go to college, get a degree in physical therapy, get degree in nursing, get a degree in this, and they have no idea how our markets work. I mean, it should be the first thing we should be teaching. I mean, we're a capitalistic society. Markets are very, very important to everything that we do. Everything that we do. And they stay open all the time through COVID, through wars. They try to, anyways, right? It's very, very important. It's probably, one of the most important things to Trump right now, most important to the presidency. But it's not by accident that they don't want the American public to be doing this. They just want them, pissed off at each other, fighting ICE, fighting this, fighting that, and fighting with each other, and not not advancing the ball, and not understanding the value of a dollar, and understanding the value of an ounce of gold, or a value of an ounce of silver, and how they're losing purchasing power and their buying power. They'd be majorly pissed off if they understood that, right? So there's a reason why they don't want them to know. We want you to know, but I think you want to approach your trading, in a systematic, disciplined program sort of way. And if you're trading only one market, and it's fine if you do that. I'm not telling anybody not to do something. I just think that it'll be more difficult, especially when that one market goes kind of dormy. It gets, right now gold isn't dormy. It's pretty, volatile. Same thing with silver. Just keep buying every dip, for God's sakes. I mean, it's phenomenal, phenomenal. Um, but I think you want to set yourself up. What we're going to try to do is help you set yourself up for success. That's all. To be a bit more disciplined in your approach. That makes sense. And not be making decisions purely on the money. Right? You do need to be aware of your capital in of that. I'm not saying you shouldn't be aware of that, but you don't want to be making decisions purely on the money. If you want to do that, you probably want to follow Dave Portnoy and, bet on the Buffalo game and the San Francisco game. I don't even know what those guys are. I don't even know if they're still playing, but that's what they do, right? And they all sit in a room and, and scream at the TV screen and they're gamblers. We're not doing that. If you're thinking that this is a gambling endeavor, it isn't. It isn't, not at all. Let's just take a look at silver, for instance, right? And now I'm going to show you this. Now we have members that are in silver, and they're in silver on a daily, weekly, and a monthly basis. And you'd be like, well, how come I'm not there? Well, I don't know. But let's look. 167 days ago, 167 days ago, if you had put a silver contract on, a silver contract, it would have cost you 18 grand. Now, not today, because they've increased the margin, right? Not today. And they continue to increase it because they want to tamp down the speculation. But you'd be up 300,000. 300 grand. We have a member who went long silver in their retirement account on a monthly basis. and they were in not at 28.48. They were in below 25, 22 to be exact. That's where they started in. And when silver got to 35, they put in a sizable amount. And it happened to be a tax-free account. And when silver got to 35, their broker called them and said, "Hey, do you want to sell silver?" Like, why would we do that? Oh, because, it's don't pay a dividend and it's silver and, you've more than, doubled your money and you might want to get out. But the broker never, ever, in the years they had him, ever called them to sell anything before. Never to sell Apple, never to sell a stock, never to sell. But wanted to sell silver. Thank goodness they didn't. And everyone was so caught up, right, this past year with Bitcoin, you know. Crypto, the Cosmo girls, right? So you just want to get focused in on them. Now there will come a time when, that gold is, trending back down, and silver too. But how are you going to know when that is? Any questions, let us know. If anyone has a market or a stock, even though the stock's not trading, and you want to see how Swing Machine or any of our other tools would be positioning, feel free to let us know. Right? I'm happy to plug it in. We're not running a trading show. We're not trying to do that. We're just trying to create a little bit of awareness that we're back in the saddle. We didn't participate in the CME. We registered for the CME last week, but it fell on the week that we went away, so we didn't do anything there. You can register. We will register. It looks like they're doing it every month. They only used to do it a couple of times a year. Now they're doing it every month, and I think it's great. And so we will do it again, hopefully next month. But our year is fully underway, and we're off to a great start. I hope you are too, and don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, you want me to plug anything in, you let us know. Markets will be closing today. It's a banking holiday. They'll be closing at 1. We'll be shutting down at 1. And don't hesitate, though, if you get any questions between now and then. The big movers overnight are gold and silver up again. Is gold going to break 5,000 this week? I think it's destined to break 5,000. Probably going to do it this week. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Is silver going to break 100? Yep, probably. And probably going to be one more day of this, and she will be at 100. When she hits 100, then it'll be on the headlines. It'll be on the Contrarian News Bubble channel, and this is what's shocking. With silver on a daily, 167 days ago, 167 days ago, when silver was trading at 35, it would have cost you $18,000. Now it costs you more today because they've increased the margin, but you would have plenty of capital to do it if you had kept rolling it, and you would be up $297,000. That's what it would be. Because the silver has more than doubled, and that is a leverage product. If you did it on a weekly basis, say, Don, I'm an investor. Okay, well, no problem. You're up 328,000 if you went in at 28.95. All the time when CNBC had you focused on Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. Oh my God. Hey, they got, if you continue to watch and listen to that crap, they will make you stupid, right? Joe Bag of Donuts, Becky Not So Quick, Steve Leisman. God Almighty, I can't believe anybody. Why? I haven't seen them or heard them or seen that station in years. In years. I mean, 2008, 6, something like that. Just a total waste of time. They'll make you dumb. Okay, everyone, we're wrapping down here. We only got 3 minutes, and the markets will close, and we will shut down. And the markets, though, will reopen at 6 p.m. tonight. We'll look for you again later in the week, probably in the middle part of the week and in the middle part of the day. This is the absolute busiest time of the year for us, so don't hesitate to visit the website. Don't hesitate to reach out if we can answer your questions and help you get underway. Time, the most valuable commodity of all. Can't make it, can't buy it, can't sell it, can't trade it, but you can waste it. We're ready when you are. Okay, everyone. As you can see, the indices have shut down. Everything is shut down. So with that, we're gonna take a quick peek, see if there's any questions, any last minute questions. And I don't see any, so I just want to say thank you for stopping by. And it looks like maybe gold and silver, they might go for another 10 or 15 minutes. I'm not really 100% on that. Couple of trades going off there I can see on gold. But we're going to need to turn down, and until next time. So again, be sure to visit the site. Let us know if we can answer any of your questions, and we hope you're getting it done. We hope you have a great start to the year and a great year. And we'd love to see you part of our little group. It's a private club of sorts, and again, we're ready when you are. We wish you the best.